Hi, I'm David. Welcome to Wildlife in Focus. This video covers 10 of the land mammals that you might be lucky enough to see if you visit Scotland. Plus, keep listening to the end of this video to hear about a bonus mammal that was previously extinct in the UK, but has now been reintroduced. Scotland is the last remaining stronghold for the red squirrel, Squirrel vulgaris, remaining in the UK. It is thought that this is due to there being isolated pockets of natural woodland environments that have not yet been infiltrated by the non-native and invasive grey squirrels. Grey squirrels carry a disease that is deadly to the native red squirrel. The reds do have an unusual ally though, and that is the pine marten. The grey squirrel has not evolved to recognise the pine marten as being a threat, and therefore they fall prey to this predator more frequently than the reds. Eurasian otters, scientific name lutra, are one of the UK's success stories as their populations have soared from the brink of extinction now that they are protected from human persecution. They are an elusive species to see in the wild due to their huge territories, and whilst you can see them across the UK, there is something very satisfying about observing them in Scotland, where the animal's environment is less human. Whilst the Eurasian otter is a success story, the hedgehog, Erinaceus europaeus, is the polar opposite. Numbers have declined rapidly over the last few decades. The rhetoric persists amongst landowners that this is due to predation by foxes and badgers. However, scientific studies have proven that there is little basis for this, as hedgehog numbers have dwindled at the same rate in areas where these predators don't exist. The reality is that hedgehogs need large tracts of undisturbed, non-humanized land to flourish. It is mankind that is responsible for the decline of hedgehogs through the removal of habitat, the use of pesticides and insecticides, and significant road deaths each year. Even in Scotland, the story is very similar to the rest of the UK. Whilst people think of Scotland as being an unspoiled wilderness, the reality is that it is one of the most deforested countries in the whole of Europe. So if you do see a hedgehog in the wild, give them a thought, and if you have one visiting your garden, then maybe put some hedgehog food out for them. The mountain hare, Lepus timidus, is the only native hare in Scotland, and therefore an important species to conserve. They were given full protection in Scotland in March 2021, as they are classed as near threatened. If you are walking in the Scottish uplands, then you may well spot one of these fantastic animals. They change their camouflage each year to hide themselves from predators. In summer, they sport a coat of grey-brown so that they are harder to spot amongst the heather moorland. In winter, they change to an almost pure white so that they are disguised amongst the snow. From a UK conservation standpoint, there appears to be a lack of scientific data supporting red fox, Vulpes, population numbers. Set this against the backdrop that whilst fox hunting has been banned in the UK, the Protection of Wild Animals Act 2002 appears to provide very little protection from landowners intent on killing these animals for fun and sport. The usual excuses prevail that foxes threaten their livestock, that populations need to be managed to protect bird life, and that hunts now use fake scent trails. But all these excuses are just a smokescreen of the continued barbaric yearly cycle of killing. Is it any wonder then that it seems you are now far more likely to see foxes in urban environments than you are in the countryside? The European badger, Meles, has fared much better than the fox. The same laws are also in place to protect them in the UK. But unlike the fox, they aren't subject to the hunting fraternity bending the rules in the name of sport. Badgers emerge to forage on a crepuscular and nocturnal basis. Your best bet of spotting them is during the early evening. The best time of year is between April and August when they are most active. Your best bet is to go to a dedicated hide to see these fantastic animals. Quite possibly the red deer, Cervus elephas, is an animal that many people associate with Scotland. They roam relatively free in the Scottish Highlands, and are the easiest of the animals in this list to be able to spot in the wild. Sadly, they are under threat, but unusually not specifically from mankind. They are gradually being hybridized by the non-native Japanese sika deer. Hybridization is also the likely fate of the UK remaining breed of wildcat, aptly named the Scottish Wildcat, Felis sylvestris, about the same size as a domestic cat, which is what they hybridize with. There are efforts to try and protect the species through protected breeding programs, which will hopefully see this, the most elusive of all the animals in this list, endure. When it comes to being elusive, the pine marten, Martes, is right up there with the Scottish wildcat. They have dark brown hair with a very distinctive yellow or white throat patch and are about the size of a small domestic cat. The Roe Deer, Capreolus, is another truly native deer in the UK, with records supporting that they have lived in the British Isles for some 10,000 years BC. Like their red deer cousins, they are abundant throughout the UK. However, once again, there is something very Scottish about seeing them in the Highlands. Our 11th bonus animal in this list is the Eurasian beaver, Castor fiber. Once extinct across the UK through human persecution, and despite significant resistance over the years, the Eurasian beaver is gradually being reintroduced. Beavers are known as ecosystem engineers as they create wetland habitats that support other species. The reintroduction programs have proven this to be the case, with an increase in another endangered species, the water vole